So last night there was a special election in Pennsylvania's 18th district. Now this seat belonged to Tim Murphy. He had to step down because of some certain sexual allegations that had happened. I'm not going to go into that. Now, Pennsylvania 18th is really, really conservative. They went for Donald Trump by at least 20 points and was classified as Republican plus 11. That means any Republican had a inbound advantage of at least 11 points. And yet, what happened last night? Rick Saccone lost. Now, barely. Keep in mind, they're within 700 votes of each other, and there's still a trickle of some absentee ballots coming in. But so far, Connor Lamb is the winner. Connor Lamb is a Democrat, and a fairly moderate one at that. I'll get to the spin on that later. But this win in something that was in a place that was Republican, that voted Republican for at least the last decade, that was solidly red and conservative. Now in play, this has set the Republicans on fire. In fact, there was a Republican strategist who talked with Business Insider, and they said that Republicans need to be careful not to put any sort of rosy spin on the election, as he said that they would have been disastrous for the party even if Republican candidate Rick Saccone had pulled out a victory. Quote, "The narrow margin in a district the president won handily should be a serious wake-up call for Republican incumbents across the map. No suburban district is safe, and every candidate better be ready for the most difficult cycle of their career." Now, again, this is interesting because, look, the last couple of elections, the Democrats in this area, they're like, no, Democratic Party, we're not interested in running in this race. We're not interested at all. We know we can't win. But wait, now they decide, actually, you know what, we maybe have a shot because there is the most unpopular president basically in history. And so, look, hey, we're going to give it a shot. It seems to have paid off. Now, the GOP, another GOP strategist, told Business Insider that the law should serve as a wake-up call to everybody in the GOP. So, look, when you get into the politics of this is actually a huge upset. Again, I just showed you, or just told you, the advantages that Republicans had. This went for Trump by 20 points. Donald Trump himself went and stumped for Saccone. Saccone himself is like, I was Donald Trump before Donald Trump was around. I'm more Trumpy than Trump. And yet, here we go. Razor thin victory by the Democrat. Now, of course, the Republicans, Saccone is like, hey, man, I'm not conceding yet. No. I'm going to pull a Roy Moore, and I'm going to say, I'm not going to concede. Let's wait for a recount. Well, they don't have mandatory recounts, even though that's exactly what they're seeking. So, now let me get to some criticisms of Connor Lamb for a second. Now, Connor Lamb is no progressive. He's nobody's progressive. So, to me, his win is not a huge, huge victory for the Democratic Party or for progressive politics. Yeah, it's a win for the Democratic Party, but not for progressive politics. So, I don't think... So, his win is less impressive than... Or less important to me than the politics. Then it's not really a win for Connor Lamb. This is a huge loss for Republicans. And so, that is very, very interesting. Now, personally, I expect another Doug Jones, right? Still, he is better than Saccone. Again, Saccone bragged about being Trump before Trump. And he's, like I said, he was a very, very right-wing nationalist conservative. Now, the real lesson here for this entire election is Republicans, watch out. Even your milquetoast, centrist corporate Democrats can win now in the era of Trump. Now, look, if we actually get progressives, this is the lesson that progressives can take. If we can get progressives running in this area, and if we turn out, well, look, this might end up being not just a blue wave. Because, look, a blue wave doesn't matter if all we get are centrist corporate Democrats. It's not going to mean much. But if we actually get out and vote for progressives and make sure progressives win their primaries, well, then you could turn that blue wave of centrist Democrats into a tsunami of progressives. And that's why you got to vote in the primaries. If we progressives can hijack and ride this wave with candidates that actually support us and not just serve their donors, we can actually win. And better than winning, we can actually have a voice in policy. Instead of letting the corporate Democrats and Republicans have their way. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.